Hello and welcome to another episode of We're Not Wizards. My name's Richard. I will be your host for today or this evening or this morning or this afternoon, just whenever you happen to be listening, because after all it's your podcast. Today is going to be a quick start on the Kickstart episode, and what we do with a quick start on the Kickstart episode is if a company is currently running a Kickstarter campaign, whether they be at the beginning, near the middle, or almost at the end, we like to get them on for a quick chat about the campaign, a quick chat about themselves, and to hopefully kind of tell them a little bit more about the game that they've got out there on the Kickstarter platform. So joining me today, I've got. Well, there's two ways I can introduce this. I could introduce this the Starbucks way, and I could say I've got Jess Wilson, and I've got Dolan Howard Cromwell, and completely mispronouncing names. Or I could do it properly and say I've got Dylan and I've got Josh, and they're from Quality Beast. You will have definitely heard of the game that they are currently have on Kickstarter, which is Seize the Bean. And you've probably heard of it because there's been quite a little bit of chatter about the fantastic components that they have that they're bringing to the tabletop. So, hello, gentlemen.
Hey, evening.
Thank you for coming on the show. You're both in different parts of the country at the moment, not the world at the moment. The campaign has been running. It's running really, really well. I mean, you're almost three times funded over the target. You've got about just over a week to go on the campaign. Now, but what we want to do is what we like to do, and We're Not Wizards, is we like to find out a little bit more about your kind of history. So we want to have just a little bit more about yourselves, how you kind of got to know each other, kind of. We like to have a little, as we say, we like to have a little bit look back in the past, a little stare at the cappuccino of the present before we jet off into the decaf of the future. I know it's a rubbish analogy, but it's the only coffee-related one I could come up with. So, don't laugh. It's not meant to be funny. It's meant to. This is a serious discussion.
My bad.
So. I mean, starting with yourself, Dylan, I mean, what's kind of mood like in camp at the moment with regards to how the campaign's kind of going?
A good friend of mine, Jordan Draper, asked me that last night. He said, tell me one word, how you're feeling related to this campaign right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, healthy, without really thinking twice. And not meant sarcastically. This is the campaign that either launches or doesn't. Our startup publishing company, and things feel healthy. So I'm thankful to the team and to the backers and to you non-wizards as well.
Oh, well, you'll always have the backing of the non-wizards because we all know that wizards can't drink coffee, which is why we love coffee so much. What about yourself, Josh? I mean,
I'm feeling pretty good. Like, kind of blown away. It's been a long time working on the game, seeing it through various iterations and stuff, and like coming into Kickstarter feeling good, but I don't know, it's something else to see it go over the top and for people to be excited about it. It feels really nice.
I mean, how did you kind of get? I mean, first of all, how did you get into the hobby, guys? I mean, Dylan, what was your earliest memory of, grabbing some pressed and printed trees and having a bit of fun with them?
That's a really good question. I've been playing games since I was a kid, so I'm not sure if Magic and Legos and pen and paper D&D count as punch boards. I guess my earliest board game memory is there was a game where you could roll pigs. I forget what it's called. And
Pass the pigs.
Maybe. And then after that was Pit, which I still have a copy of from like 1973. That game is just out of control. Oh, man. Yeah.
So what's that all about? What's Pit all about?
You're like a bunch of farmers trading goods, and there's a bell in the middle, it's kind of like Go Fish, except for you're yelling at each other, making trades, but you're not telling anybody what you're trading, just the quantity.
Was it quite a heavy plastic bell?
Oh, it's a metal bell. It's like hardcore, like ding, 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 super loud.
Serious?
Yeah.
Did anyone ever get kind of struck with a aforesaid mentioned bell at all? Did it ever break into serious fighting?
I haven't seen that happen yet. There's definitely been some like slappery happening around the table. It's a pretty rambunctious game.
I don't think I've ever played a game that's got a potential offensive weapon kind of set in the middle of the table. It's what I just kind of know. It's bad enough having Monopoly and having somebody pick up the board and chuck it at you, but I can't imagine somebody just leaning over with a bell and going, "Yeah, ring this, ding, 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 ding." Did that kind of start you on the road to kind of like staying in the, kind of keeping in the hobby? Is that kind of laid the foundation for you kind of being involved in kind of the industry? Do you still, obviously you've got the Kickstarter campaign going at the moment. Do you play? I mean, have you had a chance to play? Have you had to put your pile of shame to one side? You know, have you not been looking at the kind of the releases? Or are you forcing yourself to kind of like take a break to kind of to still play what's kind of out there?
No, we play all the time. Playing Azul recently.
All right.
My wife really likes that, and I was just playing Machiavelli, the original edition, with Stefan Brackman, who's a designer and developer at Quality Beast. He came over to Berlin from the Netherlands for a weekend and brought a stack of games that we need to go through. It's about having fun. It's about research, and we play a lot of our own unpublished prototypes we're working on too. We got some stuff coming, so there's lots of playing going on. That's the whole reason why we do this, and
What about you, Josh? I mean, how did you get into the hobby yourself?
I mean, I always played stuff like Monopoly and that lot. I was a big fan of Scrabble when I was working back over in Scotland and that. Yeah. When I moved to Berlin, Germany happened and people played board games over there.
Yeah. There's this, I'm trying to think, there's some kind of big conferencey thing that goes on in Germany. I can't quite put my name on it. No, I think it starts with an S. Not sure.
Spiel. That Spiely thing. Yeah, so over there, just hanging out with people, and people would actually play board games. They'd invite you over for a few drinks, and you'd play some board games and stuff, and have dinner. And so I got into Catan through that, Gateway Drug, and then a few other things. And then Dylan started asking me for some writing and things for what ended up being Seize the Bean, and Dylan is also a gateway drug to games because he's a big fan of them. So
is he an enabler then?
Yeah, he is indeed.
Did he become he's not like your dealer? You didn't like kind of start off and say, right, Josh, you can have these ones for free.
What do you mean? What happened? That kind of is right.
The Carcassonne expansions. No, but I'm sure. Yeah, I need to give you like at least €10 for this. No, it's fine. Don't worry, you're fine. Next thing you know, you're running along, knocking at the door. Man, I've used up all my expansions. I need some more. And it's like, yeah, you can, but you got to come right for me, Josh. You got to come right for me.
That's exactly what happened.
Josh is currently on Skype, frantically typing "send help, send help, send help."
I think in the beginning, I talked Josh up about a prison escape game, semi-cooperative, something or other, and I think he didn't even believe I was ever going to do anything, that I was just talking. And then I came back from California okay, it's about running a cafe. And I think he was just like, what is going after or before we're in prison,
How did you guys kind of end up hanging about in the first place? Are you in the kind of similar type of jobs? Was it, are you working in the same place, or was it just kind of one of these? Because I know a lot of people kind of end up forming friendships by going to kind of similar game groups. So how did you kind of first meet?
Work, for sure. We first met when I was interviewing for a job, and then Dylan was interviewing me.
Really?
This is such a good story. Oh man.
Yeah, I want to hear this. We're not here for everybody's talking about Seize the Bean. We can put that to one side and leave it. We can bring it at the end and say, okay, it's Try and get good reviews. That's it. There you go. And it's got really cool components. But let's hear everybody's talking about it. It's fine. But come on, let's hear the story. This is what I'm here for.
Who's telling it? Are you telling it or am I telling it, Josh?
I think you're telling it.
I think you role play it. That's what you do, guys. Okay, I'll be the person that's kind of bringing you into the room, Josh. Okay, I'll just be like that. Mr. Howard Cromwell, I've got Josh Wilson here for his 10 o'clock interview.
That was not what it was like at our company in the early days. But anyways.
Yeah, this interview was in a cafe for a start.
Yeah, it was
right, okay,
there's not enough room in the office to have you here. So could you please meet us around the corner?
Let's do some clinking and stuff. Right, okay. That's a cappuccino for Dalola. Okay, come on and get it. Right, come on, what happened? Guys, you can't leave me hanging, come on.
Yeah, where's this guy? Is he late? Like, I don't know, is that him without the hair? Yeah, that's gotta be him. That dude's got a nice beard, though.
So, Josh, you walk in, looking flustered a little bit. What happens next?
No, he doesn't. He's not a flustered looking guy when he walks into places. That's not how it happens.
No. Oh, go on then!
So, yeah, I mean, I don't really ask a lot of questions. I don't remember if this happened with Josh, but typically people say, "Oh, did you see my resume?" And I'll say, "No." And then they'll be kind of shocked and mildly offended. And then I'll dig in with some much more interesting questions about, what do they love in life? And we quickly got to Josh's, skill of writing, love of writing. And he was like, "Oh, yeah, I'm writing a book right now," which was so nonchalant way to say something quite impressive. Yeah. And I said, "Oh, what's the book about?" And he said, "Death." And I was just like, "Hired, done, interview's over, check please." It was just, that was it. It was like, that's so weird, man. Like, why would you say that in the middle of an interview? And he said it like he wasn't sure if it was about death or not. He kind of like looked up and was like, I don't know.
Did he lean over? Did he beckon you in and go, "Death"?
No, it was so non-dramatic. It was so dramatic. It was so just, it's about death, Like, it was pretty cool. And it's actually a really good book, too. So, go read it. Or go publish it first, Josh. I don't know where that's at.
Yeah, maybe one day.
Well, okay, what's the book called? Yeah.
Some problems with jumping off cliffs.
Really? And, no, seriously, can you get it from anywhere?
No one wanted to take me on. No agents wanted me, so it's currently residing on a website.
Maybe Quality Beast is going to publish it,
Maybe.
With your newfound Kickstarter fame, that's the next thing. You could stick it on Kickstarter and say, "Josh Wilson, co-creator of the Kickstarter Smash Season Bean, brings his book to you, The Problems of Jumping Off Cliffs." What is the problem with jumping off cliffs, Josh?
You'll have to read the book to find out.
Oh, he's such a salesman. It's so fantastic. I love it. Okay, so you had the interview. This is how it's good. This is the format. This is why we don't do show notes, because if I did show notes for people, they wouldn't turn up to the show.
Yeah, we did the interview, and we hired him, and he was just a rock star. And then we just worked together for a while, and changed seats and offices and positions, and yeah, man. And then he flew away to do some other stuff, and now he's in Spain, and luckily we've got board games between us. So
okay. So what kind of stuff were you doing when you were working together then?
Programming all the things.
Programming all of the things.
Mm-hmm.
So, you did.
Or a majority of them, at least. A majority of the things.
No, I think we programmed every day.
Really?
That and some pool. Playing some pool.
Oh, man. Yeah, that office with that pool table was just very loud and geometrical.
It's like a nostalgia. It's like, welcome to Nostalgia Street. Joining me tonight. So Josh went to Valencia. You stayed in Berlin.
Yeah, first he went to Mexico, though, which was really interesting, having business meetings in taxis. That was pretty cool.
Taxis and on the beach.
Oh, yeah, the beach, yeah. Luxury.
Is this just...
write a script.
Is this just with you? Were you doing like lots of freelance stuff and just kind of going where the money was good and required, or were you on run from the law or something like that?
I'm working for a company in air for my day job, actually. It's remote. So I can be in Mexico quite happily eating tacos, doing some quality beast work, and working for the monies.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So you can just like disappear and say, okay, where's ridiculously cheap to live at? Where can I get a working visa at? And then just rock up with and just do what you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So you're doing various things, globetrotting, eating tacos, writing books, all different types of stuff, probably drinking the occasional cup of coffee. Where do you actually get to the point where you're both kind of sitting and saying, okay, let's kind of make this into an idea, or I've got an idea, let's try and make this into actually something like a game or something like that. How did that come to come? Was that driven more by yourself, Dylan, or was it a kind of an ongoing conversation between the two of you?
Well, when I came back from a visit to my pops in Olympia and had the original design of the game written, then Josh and I met and basically just started talking about it. I mean, he's an amazing listener and a really amazing person to brainstorm with. Really flows easily with creative energy, and I think at some point he was like, all right, we should probably stop talking and you should just make a prototype. And I think another 3 months went on with me being like, nah, that's not how it works. And boy, was I wrong. So we had this whole game designed, and we hadn't even played it once. And that was a lot of work. And then we played it, and it was really, really bad. But it was pretty cool, too, because, you know, cafes in Berlin and lots of humor. And our friends kind of loved it. And that ignited the spark, and there was a thing, and we were doing that thing.
I mean, with you being, like, in the board game, doing the board game stuff, is it easier, do you think, just to take a kind of a completely off-the-shelf idea and just kind of run with it? I could see maybe, you know, in the indie video game scene, you doing that, but I can't see many places where you could just take, you know, here's a completely ridiculous idea or a completely off-the-wall idea and actually take it to fruition where people can actually kind of creatively kind of play something.
Well, that's a lot of our vision at Quality Beast. I mean, many companies will claim to be original or they want to innovate, and I'm not saying we won't attempt to do those things, but we're just going to be free to be weird and explore a lot of absurd territories and enjoy that. And we'll mix that with some more traditional themes too, perhaps. But I think that's why this theme felt so good to us, because it's very universally relatable, but it's also just kind of ridiculous too. And it's a true story, actually.
Yeah, it's a true. It's a true story.
Yeah, because there's a couple of guys that work at a, I guess, famous, you can call it famous, roastery in Berlin, and they quit their jobs. Like, you know, we're super good baristas, we don't need this. Probably with less attitude and more respect. And then open their own cafe in this totally shitty little hole in the wall. Can I say that on this podcast?
No.
I can't say hole in the wall?
No, you definitely can't say hole in the wall.
Oh, my bad. Well, I said it.
That's
so.
all right. No,
Anyways, they opened this cafe right outside our office, and at least I drink a lot of coffee, so I frequented it, and they were cool. I like them. They're funny guys. They make me laugh. One of them has an outrageous mustache, and I don't know. It was just like, this is a game. Like, definitely being in this sweaty little room serving people bean juice and trying to sort out the tourists from the hipsters. This is like a game about the city that we love, so...
So Josh, when Dylan is kind of asking you to get involved in the writing side of things, did you kind of look at him slightly funny and say, well, what exactly is it you kind of want to write? Or did you have a good idea of how you know, what you were going to kind of bring into the game yourself?
It was a little bit of the former. Like, I wasn't really sure what you can write in the game. There's not that many words to be had, but in the end, from sitting around and chatting about it, like, it ended up being more about like getting onto the characters, the people, like the feels of Berlin, who's in the game, what are they doing, this sort of stuff, and that was fun. It was fun figuring that out. It was fun chatting about Berlin.
Mm-hmm.
What's there, what's not. Like, yeah.
Were you given quite a little bit of kind of creative freedom for you to just go ahead and write about all the kind of the different characters and stuff like that as well, or was I take it sounded like Dylan was pretty open to just bringing kind of any ideas to the table? Did you get like a bit of creative freedom with what you were doing?
Anything that I have to write, yeah, basically. Like, I'll normally do a version that's weird and a bit mad or whatever, and then I'll come back to it, check it again, and then give it to Dylan. He'll look over it and like find some bits that he likes in there, and we'll go from there, sort of thing. Like, so it's pretty. I'm free to be odd when I'm doing some writing and stuff, and then we sort of bring it back around and make it make sense and find out where it fits in the game and stuff.
Okay, cool. Okay, let's go into the game mechanics themselves. Let's talk a little bit about you kind of like. Well, obviously we'll talk about the elephant in the room, which is the components. But what's the kind of the base mechanics behind it, Dylan?
I mean, it all started with this serving your line, and that was one of the hardest things in the game, was deciding scope. But somehow, very early on, we changed scope twice. Could you have multiple cafes across the city, or can you serve kind of a component that represents a group of people as opposed to an individual? And the game just felt like it lost its soul. We didn't know till later that it was really about people. At the time, we still thought it was about coffee. But in order to have it have that kind of feeling, it needed to include something that was a one-on-one with each customer. And so that line mechanic, that serve your line, one person at a time, has always kind of been in there in some form. So that was the base piece of the structure.
Okay, so how do you play it? How do you? I mean, if you're playing around, how do you play around a Seize the Bean? What do you actually do in it?
Well, you serve your line, and that's something that's kind of strict. You got to do it in the order the customers appear, which is random. You're controlling them because they're coming from your deck, but you're just drawing them out. It's almost like other deck builders where you draw a hand of cards. Instead, in this game, your hand is open in front of you. And so not only are you serving your customers, but they're also triggering abilities that are uncontrollable. And these abilities we've designed to have a duality about them. So in some cases, the ability of a customer is going to be, really good to your benefit. But in other cases, when you're underprepared, it's going to be really bad. And the initiative order matters too. Your customer abilities can not only affect your shop, they can affect the shops of other people. So this is really funny because like the rebel characters, they basically make people angry. And if you're going first, you can make other people in other shops angry. But if you're going last, you're going to just make your other customers angry. So there's a lot of control of timing and a lot of how do I mitigate the unknown, risk management in that line. And of course there's some resource management too, because these people aren't just eating or drinking air, right? I mean, Berlin's pretty new age, but not that new age. So you got to get some beans and milk and sugar cubes to them, so.
Yeah. I mean, what made you decide to, I mean, you must have spent some time putting together all the mechanics, making sure everything was kind of working together. So how long was it before you brought in the components? Because let's talk about these components. Because they're kind of, you've actually got coffee beans, you've actually got sugar cubes, and it looks like you've got little bits of milk in there as well. So when did you decide, right, okay, let's actually change this or let's introduce these kind of 3D components? Immediately.
From day one, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, we have in our team people who 3D model and who 3D print. So, the earliest prototypes had brown beans for coffee, white beans for milk, and green beans for money, which is a thing that has come and gone from so many versions of Seize the Bean. It's an economic game, but it could never decide if it actually wanted money in it or not. And luckily here at the end, it doesn't have money in it, and that matches our vision of Berlin a lot more, because it's a pretty, as they say, poor but sexy city.
Okay, what made you decide to leave the money kind of out of it?
Probably Andy Couch, co-designer on the project. Josh and I are like co-creators in a sense, but Andy really, he brings the Euro mechanics that help the game have a successful structure. And in our meetings, well, from one meeting to the next, he'll say things like, remove the money, it's economically broken. And then we'll change a couple other things, and in the next meeting he'll say, oh, it needs money again, you got to bring that money back in. It's been fun. That's been fun. So, but he knows what he's doing. It's been a pleasure, to join forces between Josh and I and him. So,
what do you think, Josh? Do you think there should be money in it, or do you think the money should be left out, or have you had that conversation? You had that conversation so many times. It's like I used to kind of like going along and saying, yeah, okay, we've brought the money this time to put back in, or we've already taken away the money. Haha, we've kind of like second guessed you already, kind of thing. You get used to them changing his mind so often. So you, as I said, you're going through the kind of the mechanics. You're serving your line. You've got different people kind of influence you. Where do the beans, where does the sugar cubes, and where does the milk kind of come into? Is that to do with the orders, how you're making up the drinks for people? Or?
Yeah, those are the resources. And what we knew we wanted from the beginning was a game that created tension. In the early versions, it was the tension of going bankrupt or having your assistants or baristas in training quit on you. We found out very quickly at HBL 16 that people don't like it when they get ejected from a game in the first 5 minutes. So we got rid of player elimination pretty soon. But those resources, they help create a different kind of tension where when you don't have enough to serve the people, they're going to get angry with you. And you're either going to get bad reviews, or you're going to give your neighboring cafes the opportunity to serve those people and basically steal the rewards out from under you. So you're going back and forth between, okay, I don't know what's coming out in my deck, so I'm not 100% sure what resources I need, but I think I don't need milk this turn, so I'm not going to use an action to get milk. And instead going, I'm going to use this action to install this happy cactus in the window of my shop, because that's fresh, and hipsters love that. So you're balancing between building up your cafe engine to get some combos going, and also actually maintaining your customers.
Do you have? Oh, you do. You actually have. I'm just looking at it. You actually have a happy cactus. You have several cacti.
We got a lot of stuff. That's the fun part about this game.
I mean, did you have to draw a line? I mean, when you're putting together all the components and things like that, do you have to say, right, okay, that's enough? Or do you have to think, well, that's enough for just now, in terms of balancing up the kind of the money side of things, the development costs and things like that? Because you can have a slew of ideas and then half of them don't make it to the table, because if you had them all in, it would just cost an absolute fortune, and the box would weigh about 20 kilos or something like that.
Waiting to see if Josh says something here, because I think most of the time it's me saying, can we have a box of 20 kilos? And then he goes, no.
We've definitely already got quite a lot in the game. We're definitely drawing some lines somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of what we've got in there, into the customer groups and stuff, there's like 23 now, which is a lot. I'm quite happy with what's in there.
It's over 550 cards included in the game that can be purchased for retail, as well as over 200 resin components too. So it is packed to the brim with goodness.
That's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we're trying to eat Dominion for lunch. That's what we're trying to do.
I think you've got my you've got Scythe kind of quivering slightly in the corner and hearing those kind of number of components. I mean, again, is it with that size? I mean, are you looking at a fairly kind of decent sized box, or does it need that size? Because a lot of it's cutting it, with a lot of it being cards and then just the resin tokens. Are you still able to keep a decent Is it Kallax size, I think, is what I'm asking.
No,
Can
we're
you easily-
aiming at a like 20 by 20 centimeter box. We're aiming at like a Kanagawa sized box. We might have to
Okay.
kick it up a centimeter or two, and definitely a
Yeah.
little bit more depth. But I'll be honest, we're trying to
Yeah.
support our sleeve siblings out there who love sleeving their cards. If we didn't need to deal
Yeah.
with sleeves, we could probably stay at this box size. But we got to show the love for the sleevers. I'm definitely a sleever from time to time. So
Are you a double sleever?
I am not a double sleever
Do they
on
exist?
Thursdays, but
I've seen double sleevers. I've actually seen double sleevers, and what they do, okay? And you know who you are, double sleevers. You're part of this magic crowd. But it's the clear sleeve, and then you get the sleeve with the fancy backing on it. And you have them going both ways so you can completely protect the sleeve. But what I've discovered, much to my amusement, is that they can stop them from getting wet, but a good pair of scissors, you can still cut straight through those cards. Straight through. Without a hitch. It's absolutely stunning. But yeah, there is, in the Magic community, there's still people that double sleeve. I don't think there's people that go as far as triple sleeve. I'm pretty sure they'd probably be banned from playing the game altogether if they kind of did. But no, I mean, I see what you're talking about, because I'm trying to think, I think Grim Forest, they had to relook their insert, because they had designed this beautiful, stunning kind of insert for the game, and then I think somebody kind of asked the question, kind of, does that mean that I can fit all my cards in if I'm sleeving them? And obviously some people shook their heads, and then other people went, oh my goodness. And then I think James Hudson had to go away and actually relook at the inlay design for the game so that the sleeved cards kind of fit in. So he says that's a challenge that's kind of set us back in terms of our production and stuff like that as well. So it's important. I mean, if you've got, hundreds of cards there, you've got to kind of be protecting them, I guess, yeah?
yeah, the game is modular. That's our biggest concern. If you literally used all 500 plus cards in one game, first of all, that would be pretty wild. And secondly, then maybe as they degraded over time, they would all do equally. But it's a modular game where you're selecting 6 customer groups at a time to mix a different city every time you play. So, if you have some favorite groups, they're gonna kind of take some damage more than the other ones. So it's really important that for people that want to protect the cards, that we support them there. So we want to make the box have a little bit of breathing room. And plus, there's a couple of promo packs that are free add-ons for everyone who backs the Kickstarter, and then also available for purchase for people who pre-order or buy retail later. And we want to make sure that the box fits those in, as well as the other surprise goodies that are coming up here near the end of the Kickstarter.
Oh, okay. So I take it replayability is quite important. Is that what you? I mean, Josh, was the replayability one of the kind of the things that you thought about when you were kind of putting things together?
It came naturally, I think, when we were looking at the customer groups. We started off with I don't know if you know Berlin, but there's different areas. So we started off with like 5 different areas that each have like this different vibe.
Yeah.
And that was what we had as the customer groups. Each customer group was a lot bigger than they are now.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. But that sort of broke down into these smaller groups, and then it made a lot of sense that they could do different things, and you might not want them to do similar things. So you could choose what you wanted to play with, and as soon as we had that idea, it just made heaps of sense to separate it out that way, so you can customize your game, you can customize how you want to play. If you don't like the take that angle, then get rid of them. But if you really enjoy messing with other people, then put them all in.
Does that mean that there's a little bit more of a nightmare in terms of the playtesting side of things? If you've got, does it matter if you've got to kind of have the got to have your groups? This sounds like another story coming up. But did you end up with introducing more groups? Do you end up introducing kind of more play testing and checking for balances and ultimately checking that you're not kind of going to break the game?
Yeah, we'll be honest. Shout out to Guy Harding and a couple other backers who have been doing the math as we've been unlocking customer groups. According to them, right now there's over 245,000 combinations for the 4-player game. And someone else said it would take, if you played Seize the Bean every day, it would take till 2070 until you'd played every combination or something like that. So I think we can be...
That's value for money.
we can be straight up with everybody. There's no way that we can possibly playtest every scenario in the game. This is really on the level of a collectible card game that to be honest is very exciting for us to see what combinations and what engines people build. I was demoing it for a neighbor, and they figured out that they could win the game by literally ejecting all the customers from their shop and just building an engine where they just advertised their super high quality coffee and won through hype. It was ridiculous.
Were you happy at that?
Yeah, it's awesome. We love diversity. We love Berlin for that, and we want players to express themselves, however weird that is, through the game. So yeah, I mean, but we are playtesting a lot. It's more about the balance of how the icons are distributed on the cards, and about the general power of each customer group's ability. Those are things that are much more straightforward to test than what is every single combination possible.
So has there been quite a few? I mean, have you gone out to quite a few groups to get the playtesting done? Was there a specific kind of group of people you always went to, or did you try and get it out to as many people as possible?
Yeah, we've all been playing. I mean, everybody on the team. We have a big Quality Beast family, even if not everybody's part of the core. Working on things daily. A lot of preview copies went out, and a lot of reviewers have been playing. And we've been playing variations of the game for what, Josh? I don't know, a year and a half now.
Yeah, a good wee while. Like, it started off with me and Dylan. Eventually, when we got around to actually printing some cards and having the game, playing around, and then a group of folks nearby have a games night, Wednesday games night, and they took an interest and got involved as well. So they've been doing a lot of the early play testing, and actually, like, going to Spielessen, when we first went to Spielessen, was I think, at least for me, like, really, it was really eye-opening. It was eye-opening to get to Spielessen and meet people who love board games, and everyone's amazingly friendly and all of this, and so positive. You get people playing the game and giving you feedback and just wanting to make it better, and that was also, like, totally invaluable, like, totally.
Was it a bit intimidating, kind of rocking up at Essen and with your game under your arm? Because I've heard people kind of like say, you can talk your Gen Con all you want, you can talk your Games Expo in the UK, but when you go to Essen for the first time, it's a completely unique kind of experience.
I'm just laughing because Spiel 16 was our first event ever, and like we're much more in the know now and prepared, but we literally rolled up to Essen in the car the morning of. And
after an 8-hour drive, after an 8.5-hour drive, we got there at 7 a.m.
We didn't even have our tokens punched out yet, which, by the way, we were doing with a hand chisel. But we'll come back to that another time. And I remember walking in, carrying some stuff into the hallway, and it suddenly hit me right then, like, whoa, this is a really big event. And then I remember just telling myself, stop that right now. Like, go set up the booth.
Oh dear. It's kind of like a bit of I'm calm, this is good, and then starting running about the hall going, I'm not calm.
Oh yeah,
I'm not calm.
There was the aroma of panic there, and then I just replaced it with the scent of coffee. So
it's just like looking at it going, Josh, we should have brought a tablecloth. Did you not bring the tablecloth?
Oh, we had a tablecloth. Our
did you?
Our event manager, Kirsten, Siriket, as we call her, she's amazing. She had tablecloths and china out and like glass
Really?
containers for sugar cubes, and we were serving fresh coffee from our coffee partners in Berlin and also in Essen. We were running a cafe. There were bean bags and plants and stuff.
You didn't kind of get people coming over and accidentally kind of coming over with a cup of coffee and saying, "Oh, I'll need them," and sticking a couple of 3D printed sugar cubes into the coffee and stuff. That did that happen? You just get people going, "Oh, can I eat these?" No, you can't. They're game components. Leave them alone, you dog. Why are you eating sugar cube? What's wrong with you? Come on, you're gonna get diabetes. Calm down. But I mean, you get to the point. Did you get to the point where you're playing the game so much? I mean, did you plan the Kickstarter over a period of time? Did you have a date for when you were kind of launching the Kickstarter, or was it just a case of it was ready to go when it was ready to kind of go?
I'm almost afraid to answer.
We decided sort of at Spiel this last year that we were in a good place. And at some point, you're never going to be completely happy with a thing, but you've just got to go and do it. So we set a date, which we stuck to. And then after Spiel, I think we had some more development.
Did you go, "We're going to do this"? And you go, "It's not good enough. It's not good enough. It's fine. Let's do it." "No, it's rubbish." "No, it's very, very good game." "Why are you talking to yourself?" "I don't know." But I mean, did you? But you obviously you put the prototypes together. I take it when you were sending out the prototypes, did you make sure that every reviewer that got a copy of Seize the Bean, did they get a little packet of beans, packet of milk, pack of sugar?
Oh yeah, we handmade everything in quantities of 15 prototypes, and people got the game, and we give a preview package, which is some physical elements as well as some digital elements to help guide them through it. And try to stay in communication with them and let them help us, not only promote the game but also shape it. A lot of the people that we sent copies to, they're not just out there being content creators. They're also really good casual developers. They have a lot of good insight to what makes a game better. So that's been, I won't go off and name everybody, but a big thank you to everyone who took the chance to receive a game. Because some of them were like, on first glance, I didn't really want to play this. But then after...
You never know. So you were actually back to being your original kind of dealer type person that you were with you, Josh.
Maybe so.
You were just doing that line. You were going, "Oh, limit, here he comes. It's Howard Cromwell." Dun, dun, dun. Or the good old HC to his friends. Dropping. But did you get people kind of contacting you when they got the prototypes through? Did you make people aware that they were going to be getting actual little beans and sugar, or did you leave it as a nice little surprise?
I don't think the contact emails that Josh and I were writing said, "You will get sugar."
That's a whole different
Did
conversation.
they, Josh? I don't know.
No.
I mean, we sent out a teaser package, press release basically. Who knows what people read. Our artist Mario is just amazing, so I think a lot of people just saw one or two hipster illustrations and were like, "Yup, give me that."
So did you get people contacting you and actually kind of being quite surprised and kind of a little bit of joyous about getting the kind of the beans through and getting the sugar cubes? Did you get in contact with you straight away and go, "Oh, this is part of the game? Is this part of the game? Is this part of the Kickstarter? Am I going to get this in the game itself?" Was there kind of did that help? Do you think that helped to kind of create a buzz about the game, create interest in the game?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. That's been a big thing for everybody. And maybe for a first project, maybe one of the scariest parts for us because, resin is expensive. I just remember the whole time Josh was saying, we got to be careful. Do we want to make a game, or do we want to make this super deluxe game? And I don't know if you saw on the Kickstarter, but the first game that people were pledging for didn't have all the components. We had to reach a stretch goal. We had to fund and then reach a stretch goal to ditch the wooden cubes for resin Andy Couch was here today, our co-designer, and he said he was actually in Hong Kong during the Kickstarter, and he said he knew we were going to fund, but he was so nervous that we'd fund but not hit that stretch goal, and then maybe people would believe we wouldn't hit it at all by the end and start dropping, their pledges. So it was kind of make or break for us, and we're really happy that that's the game. That's really what we set out to make, I would say. I mean, right, Josh?
Yeah, totally. Like, the idea of having cardboard or something in there would be so very sad.
It wouldn't have reached the full potential. I think it's one of these things that it'd be potentially one of these things that if you hadn't reached that level, you'd be saying, right, actually, we're potentially going to cancel the project because we don't want you to be kind of disappointed with the level of kind of components. But I mean, you launched it and you're getting funded 2 days, 48 hours later, boom, the money's there. I mean, it's you've reached the kind of the funding goal. I mean, how did you feel on the back of that, Josh? I mean, when you saw it kind of light up and the numbers going up and stuff like, were you both kind of frantically pressing F5?
More or less, yeah. Like, as we launched it, I was so shocked that anyone had backed it within like a minute and a half of it being up there was my first thing. I was like, what the hell? I thought that must have been someone, like, I don't know, because Dylan had literally just told me, but someone had already backed it. Yeah, I don't know. Breaking the 20K was weird. I don't know. It's all a bit surreal anyway, because we were, as Dylan was saying, like, we were worried about making it with the components. We were like, okay, we need 457 people to, and we've blown through that, and it's still a bit unbelievable.
I mean, but you had some really, really decent reviews. I mean, some really, really positive, exciting, but not guys that were kind of giving everything kind of away. I mean, even Radl was like saying, "Oh, it's a clever take on a deck building game. But it's a smart engine building. It's a sharp game." So he wasn't kind of. It was almost kind of like, I'm not telling you everything what I thought about it, kind of thing. Everybody's kind of said, "Oh, they would like the replayability." Guys like Tom Heath saying from Slicker Drips, "Wow, this is a really different deck builder." So there was a buzz going about already, and you seem to have done one thing which I think some Kickstarter campaigns struggle with, which is to make sure you've got lots of reviews from some recognised people kind of going in. But I guess that was down to the kind of the planning. What about the marketing? Has it been a difficult thing to market? Was it getting outside your comfort zone? I know obviously being involved in the Quality Beast side of things, having to market a business, market services and things like that, doing your normal day jobs, that would have been kind of like a normal thing to do. But did you end up having to kind of go outside your comfort zone to say, actually, we've got to learn how to market through Twitter, we've got to learn how Facebook works, we've got to learn Instagram, we've got to learn how to contact all these people and write kind of media pieces and PR things? Was that kind of a new set of skills you had to get your head round?
Not especially for me. It's definitely outside of my comfort zone, marketing.
Yeah.
But then we've got Dylan. I think it's within his comfort zone.
Yeah, okay.
But the whole business side of things wasn't particularly shocking for me. Like, I've done a few ventures in the past. I don't know if you know the Skinny over in Scotland. Like, I was involved in that when that first came out.
Oh, right, okay.
I was pushing that around Edinburgh in a shopping trolley, dropping it in shops and stuff. Like, so.
Okay.
Bootstrapping something or doing some business decision stuff is fine. But the marketing aspect, it's not my scene.
Okay. Yeah, I think a lot of Kickstarters find you need to almost be doing the marketing even, well before you even launching the Kickstarter campaign, just to get the word out there and I guess the kind of the noise out there. I mean, you've still got a week. You've still got a week to go. So you're triple funded at the moment. So you must be like, this is cool. We're gonna get this game made. It's gonna go out to a lot of people. Have you already got a million other game ideas that are ready to go? Has this, have you already got Project 2, 3, and 4 already lined up to kind of go forward with?
Oh yeah, we have a second game. I'm not gonna give a month yet, but it is going to Kickstarter this year. That is Towers of the Sun by Stefan Brackman.
Okay.
Very different game, but already getting some great reactions from people. It's an abstract strategy game about these clans that are being buried in the mist of the world, and they're trying to build towers upwards to get out of the mist, and using the power of the sun to kind of harness their climb. And
sounds like more 3D components might be involved.
Oh yeah, that one's very tactile. And near the end of the year, it's probably the first time that we're really publicly announcing it, but we are putting out an experimental, what looks to be co-op game that attempts to open a dialogue about human rights and why we don't all have access to them. And this game is by this amazing woman named Jana who studies this kind of topics, and she's working with Stefan Brackman as well as some other members of our development team on this game. It's codenamed No Man's Land right now, but probably won't be able to be released as that since there's already games under that name. And in between, we'll be at the Tokyo Games Market in May with a gangle of micro games created by a bunch of us at Quality Beast, some of which are going to be very very silly, and others of which are going to be more serious, but all should be fun. That's quite a few in the pipe from us, and then we are licensing some games from the Wood Games. It's our Chinese-Japanese partner. They're actually from Taiwan, but they cover those markets. And we have some secret licensed partners that we'll be announcing soon. As well as a very public collaboration with Dark Flight. Since we shared a booth at Spiel last year, we are kind of doing ongoing work with them. So there's a lot of announcements to come. 2018 is going to be a big year for us, I hope.
Is it kind of strange that this has moved from being, cardboard and 3D printed and games design, and you're actually saying, well, this is going to become, this is me moving into, running this as a full going kind of business? Is that, you must be in a rather contented but excited type of place, the both of you.
Aye, for sure. Yeah, I totally didn't expect to be at this point, when we started chatting about prison games or what have you. But I mean, just being in the hobby, or going to Spiel, hanging out with people, it's a lot of fun, and I'm totally stoked to be doing anything I can to help make these games a reality. Really. Mm-hmm.
Are you, Josh? Are you kind of have you got kind of a lot of little game ideas yourself that you're going to be bringing as kind of I know you've obviously co-created Seize the Bean, but have you got your own little kind of, I guess, portfolio of games that you're wanting to get out with Quality Beast?
I've got something I'm working on with a friend, but I don't have a big stable or anything. I think I'm more on the business side, or providing occasionally opining here or there with some stuff.
Okay. And Dylan, have you got, you've obviously mentioned a couple that you're going to be involved in. Is there other games that you'd like to do? Are you wanting to do maybe a dungeon crawler? Are you thinking about a worker placement game? Is there an ideal game that you've been thinking, well, listen, if Seize the Bean's a success, here's the game ultimately that I would like to create, kind of thing?
Oh, I got a stack, for sure. I'm not gonna say anything yet, though. I'm not releasing any. Information.
One thing I've learned,
but we learned our lesson with Seize the Bean for sure. That it's really hard to be on the marketing side, as Josh kind of said, is my comfort zone in some ways, and also be on the design side. And we don't want any of our games to suffer from that. We feel like Seize the Bean hasn't, and that's been good, but we also want to be really, as I said about the Kickstarter, healthy. So we're going to do our best to spotlight the rest of the talents in our team, and not necessarily just, pump out only my ideas, because we have a lot of people working in the team who have beautiful minds, and often in the board game world it's the designer, quote unquote, who goes on the box. But to be honest, like, some of the true magic is coming from these quote unquote developers who are really just co-designers that aren't on the box, and come in at maybe different stages. So we got a lot of people that do a lot of behind the scenes work that we want to get their ideas out there too.
Yeah, no, I've seen this mentioned quite a few times about. I'm speaking to. I'm going to be speaking to David Carl, who is part of Steamforge Games, and he's a developer. So he's taking the Dark Souls IP and he's developing the kind of the mechanics for that. He's also doing. I think he's doing the same thing with the Resident Evil 2 board game as well. So there'll be guys that'll be the key guys that'll say, well, this is how you work it, and then there's the developers kind of work away in the background. It's almost like having the difference between the guy that designs the user interface for a piece of software and the guy in the background that makes sure all the databases kind of link up so that the information kind of comes through in the right kind of format kind of thing. So it's kind of interesting to see how kind of everything kind of ties together. I'm very conscious of the time because I was like, oh, we'll just have a very short chat. But as I say, the Kickstarter's doing very, very well. If people have listened tonight and said, they want to keep an eye on what you guys are doing on the kind of the internet webs, where can we find you on that such place?
Well, first of all, if you go to we'renotwizards.seizethebean.com, you can you can back the Kickstarter from a special magic door. So we'renotwizards.seizethebean.com without the apostrophe.
All right.
And beyond that, if you want to sign up for the General Quality Beast newsletter, it's drumroll newsletter.qualitybeast.com. And if you feel like being in our Playtesters Guild, that's playtest.seizethebean.com. And if you happen to be a retailer, then send us an email at growl@qualitybeast.com. So we got all these .coms. Or just come to Berlin. Come to Berlin Thursday game night at Rudy's, or go to Wednesday games night at Yoder's house and come holler at one of us. So. Or go to Valencia and go find Josh and his puppy Pika on the beach.
Do you want people to find you, Josh?
You can try.
You could try.
You're not going to get him. I just saw a video of him bicycling with the dog in a backpack the other day. You're never going to get him.
It's like the littlest hobo. There's a voice, keeps on calling me, and you just see Josh cycling away madly. He's got away from your clutches once, Dylan. He's never coming back. You let him go.
Well, we're a remote company. We really believe in in the international vibe. So
that's cool. No, I mean, what we'll do is we will make sure that we all the links that you've said will go into the show notes so that we have notes to show. Thank you so much for coming on. This has been a lot of fun. And best of luck with the rest of the campaign. I know there's only a week to go, but that week can, as I've seen in a lot of campaigns, can end up doing a lot of some serious numbers. So kind of best of luck to both of you, gentlemen. And again, kind of thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks for having us.
If you want to keep an eye on what we're up to, go to Google. Go and search We're Not Wizards. You go to Twitter and you'll find us on We're Not Wizards. If you go to Facebook, you'll find us on We're Not Wizards. If you go to YouTube, because our podcast host Podbean automatically put all our episodes onto YouTube for us, but if you search for We're Not Wizards Tabletop Podcast, you will find us on YouTube as well. We are on places like Stitcher and Spreaker and Acast and Podknife. If you want to email us, You can email us at magic@wearenotwizards.com or .co.uk. If you've enjoyed what you've heard tonight, and we have lots of other guests coming up. As I say, I've mentioned Dave Carroll. Dave Carroll's coming back on the show. He was here with us last year. He's coming back on the show to talk about what's happening with the Dark Souls board game. We've got a few other people coming back on. And if you've liked what you've listened to tonight, then please consider going on to Apple Podcasts and dropping us a subscription. If you like us even more than that, consider giving us a review or a rating. And as we like to say, if you are giving us a rating, don't give us 10 stars, because that makes us big-headed. But don't give us 1, because that makes us cry. Give us 5, because it's in the middle, and it's average. And we are decidedly average. But the people who have not been average today are the rather wonderful, the rather fantastic, the rather amazing, Mr. Josh Wilson and Mr. Dylan Howard Cromwell. Again, thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming on. And as you say, you've got about 7 or 8 days left to make sure you can seize the bean as well. There's only a couple more things to do, though. The first thing is to remember that we are many things, but we're not wizards. Are we wizards, Dylan?
I'm pretty sure you're not.
Absolutely. What about you, Josh? Are you a wizard?
Never been near one.
Fantastic.
Doesn't mean you aren't one, though.
Don't ruin it now. Don't ruin it now. And the second thing is to say goodbye. So as I say, it's a goodbye from Josh.
Bye.
And it's a goodbye from Dylan.
Ciao, y'all.
And it's a goodbye from me. Remember, stay safe. Roll 6s. They say about seize the day, but try and, as I said, try and seize the bean. Quality Beast looks like it's going to be releasing some absolutely stunning games over through 2018. So jump on this one, jump on the next one, see what else is going to be doing. As I say, if you go to Valencia, look out for a guy pedalling furiously with a dog beside him, trying to get away from Dylan. But I don't know where I was going with that. But until the next time, goodbye.